What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. MoBeast here again. Before we begin, I always like to thank you guys for watching and supporting the channel. You guys, keep me going, keep me interested in making videos. There's a lot of things on my mind, a lot of things I love to talk about for gaming, VR, collecting, X, Y, and Z. I love talking about it, and you guys showing support really gets me hyped up. So I really appreciate it. We're only 8 subs away from 1,000 subs, and it's been a goal of mine for the end of the year. And we're already in June, so I feel like in the next couple weeks we'll be able to get it. So if you haven't already, please subscribe so I can hit that 1,000 sub mark. I would really appreciate it. And then next we can shoot for 10,000. So let's get into it, guys. Let's talk about VR. This year for VR has been kind of quiet, other than more Valve Deckard leaks, a couple games releasing here and there. There hasn't been really anything substantial. It's been kind of quiet. Something to get me, at least personally, super excited. I mean, there's some things that I still enjoy, some games that I've got to play around with, but nothing substantial where I'm just like, let's freaking go. I'm just waiting for the Valve Deckard. And, I've talked about 2 videos already, the state of VR hardware and the state of VR software. And we got some interesting news today, this week, actually, back to back on two well-known veteran games in the VR industry. Not completely bad. It's just some things that are concerning that, have in the back of my mind that this could end up being something bad, but hopefully something good comes out of it, because sometimes there are growing pains to get something better. And sometimes in an industry, there has to be things that move it forward and some sacrifices that have to be taken. But I like to think positive, but I don't like to ignore the negative side of things. So let's talk about it. So Beat Saber is one of the most popular games that most new VR users experience. Some of the things that you see that right away, because it's so easy to get into. It's so simple yet so fun. Even veteran VR players, still like myself, still go back and play that game. A lot of my family members love that game. People who I never thought would even put on VR headset put it on and love that game a lot. There's just some type of people that just gravitate towards the type of games. They don't need anything hardcore. They want something simple, and it's just really enjoyable. They really nailed it with a good formula. But unfortunately, we got some news this week that they're no longer supporting the PSVR 2. And the PSVR 2, there's always the same few sentences. PSVR 2 is dead. What is Sony doing? No one's buying this headset. X, Y, and Z. And you can already hear it's the same rhetoric over and over and over with PSVR 2. There was a slight uptick in a lot of games coming to PSVR 2 with a lot of support from users. But to see a veteran pioneer gaming software, whatever experience, no longer support the PSVR 2. They announced that after June of this month, they will not be making any updates or additional add-ons for the game. And multiplayer will be shutting down in January 2026. So any music pack coming after this will only be on PC and Quest 3 and other VR platforms that they already support. PSVR 2 will not be supported. Now, it got me thinking, does it make sense? I mean, if you're releasing DLC packs, sometimes like the norm in video game industry is like $20 on average, sometimes 30. The games for VR are $20 to $40. Releasing a DLC pack from $7 to $10 every single time, and Sony taking 30%. And I'm not really sure how many people are buying DLCs anyways for that game, how often, because they're only specific songs. And if you're not into that song, licenses cost a lot, X, Y, and Z. So maybe the amount of profit they're getting for that effort, obviously, for that small sum, isn't really worth it. Which kind of makes sense. They're not completely stopping the game in every other platform, but it is concerning for the PSVR 2 where, a big game is no longer being supported. And Sony, if I was them, I'm like, hey, this is kind of concerning. But again, you're just always thinking, what is Sony doing? What are they doing? The PSVR 2 is an amazing headset, and there are some solid games, but there's no support. But we did see an uptick, so it's kind of back and forth with this headset, and it's a little concerning. I don't like to think it's doom and gloom. I'm hopeful because I do want to see VR to be successful. I don't want this headset to fail. We need competition. This is the only other accessible headset at a reasonable price. And maybe I was thinking, you know what? Maybe the type of gamers on the PS5 console don't gravitate towards that game anyways. Each platform has its type of gamer, and sometimes like people like myself have everything, and you may not play a specific type of game on that console. You'll be like, hey, I'd rather have it on this. So, you know, it's not completely bad. It's not like the headset's dead just yet or doom and gloom. It's just, you know, people usually just jump towards the negative right away, hoping maybe, hey, they're working, the company's working on a new project, and, you know, cut back on some costs, and they want, hey, we'd rather reinvest our money into something for the future, which I hope so. I would love for them to see them make another game other than Beat Saber and support that, even though it's a successful game. Maybe that's possible. Maybe they're preparing themselves for something new. Who knows? But that's about it for Beat Saber. Next up, it's one of the first VR games, first shooting VR games that anyone would play alongside Pavlov, is Onward. Now, this one kind of hurt a little bit more. Onward was a very fun game. Jumping in, I was always playing Pavlov and that in tandem. When I got into VR, it was like the biggest 2 FPS shooters out there. And unfortunately, we also got news that they'll no longer be supporting Onward. The developers are being moved by Meta to work with the sister company, Camouflage, were the ones that made Batman Arkham Shadows for the Quest 3. And the 2.0 update that they came out with earlier this year was the last update they'll make for the game. Now, they did mention that they're not making any more updates or fixes to non-critical bugs. So I'm pretty sure if there's like something game breaking and something really bad, they might fix it. But other than that, they're joining they're partnering up with Camouflage. Now, knowing Meta, it's a little concerning because we've seen what they've done with other games and companies, shutting it down, things that didn't make sense, games that people loved, and decisions that they made that you're just like scratching your head like, man, why? But, you know, like I said, not everything is negative, it's positive. Like maybe the talent from Onward and Camouflage are going to be coming out with something really interesting. Hopefully a game that has a single player and a multiplayer element. With the talent on Onward, I don't really think that they're just going to, I would hope that they wouldn't waste that talent because they're very good at what they do. You know, you can make an argument of which game is better, but you can't deny that Onward, it built a foundation for VR FPS shooter base, you know, for VR on PC and the Quest, and even including PSVR 2 and other platforms. So you can't deny that from them. And I really hope something positive does come out, but it is concerning based off of Meta's history and decision making. It just sucks. And when Onward was probably the last game to make a large update, you know, Pavlov made a big update for, the next wave of VR users. Ghost of Tabor came out. Contractors made big updates and big changes to their game. It wasn't just the standard small updates here and there. There were significant things that they did for attracted people to the game. And Onward is like, hey, we're coming out with this 2.0 update. We're going to improve a lot of things, X, Y, and Z. And you know what? A few months later, we're done. We're being moved over to work with this team. Both talented teams. It's just kind of sucky that, hey, we're not going to see more from Onward, what they could do. So now there's just one less game. It'll still be online. It'll still be there. You can still purchase it and everything. They'll just no longer be making updates to that unless it's game breaking. So that's about it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment below your thoughts and concerns or just anything. I would love to hear from you guys, what you look forward to, anything related to VR or even non-VR. But I would love to hear you guys' opinions and thoughts. Take care, guys, and peace.